What's good, everybody? It's your host, Vince here. Thank you for tuning in today's episode of the Russ and Vince Courtside Podcast. We got some exciting and breaking news to share with you guys if you haven't heard already. And boy, oh boy, do we have to talk about this, of course. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. Like, comment, share with your friends if you do enjoy the content. Of course, you guys, I hope you're having a blessed day today on this good Sunday, where the NBA Finals is going to be showcasing today at about 5:30. So make sure you tune into that as well. Let us know in the comments who you want to win, OKC or the Pacers. All righty, let's get into this topic, you guys. Crazy news. Crazy news. Kevin Durant just got traded to the Houston Rockets. In exchange, they just received Dillon Brooks, the number 10 pick, as well as Jalen Green, 5 second-round picks as well. Now, what does this mean exactly for not only Kevin Durant, but the Houston Rockets moving forward? Well, let's talk about that. Now, obviously, you look at what happened with Houston. Houston did not play as well as we expected as the number 2 seed in this year's postseason. They made it to a game 7, made it interesting as best as they could against the Golden State Warriors, but they just didn't have enough. During that series, though, we did learn a lot, right? We learned that Alfred Şengün, rising star, big. He was an all star this year, deservingly so. We also heard and learned a lot about Fred VanVleet and his leadership. We learned a lot about Steven Adams, how important he is. He just got signed to an extension as well for the next 3 to 4 years, if I'm not mistaken, to stay in Houston. And then we also learned about Amen Thompson, right? And we're going to focus and center around that because that's going to be a big topic as far as him not being a part of this trade at all in order to land Kevin Durant and how him being there as well as Kevin Durant being there is going to be very vital for his growth moving forward after an amazing postseason we saw out of him. But nonetheless, as far as the Houston side, they obviously did not do what they expected as the number 2 seed. They didn't go far. They got bounced out in the first round. And because of that, during that series, a lot of us, whether you follow the Rockets or not, we learned a lot as far as their star player, Jalen Green, right? Jalen Green was picked in the number 2 overall pick a few years ago in the early 220, I think it's like 2021, 2022 drafts. He's only 23 years old, but he's been a rising star, somebody that we saw in the regular season at least average about 23, 24 a game. You had hoped and thought that he was going to take that leap moving forward. Unfortunately, this just wasn't that postseason. In fact, one could argue he was the main reason why they didn't go far. There were too many occasions that Jalen just did not show up, did not shoot efficiently, and if his shooting wasn't well, what else did you have to rely on him? Defensively, he just didn't really give you much either. Wasn't able to play make. He was very one dimensional, and the Golden State Warriors very much exposed that not only to him, to the Rockets, but to the world, right? And ever since that series ended, we did hear rumors that the Houston Rockets might be looking to trade him. We just didn't know how real, how serious, or where this guy might go, right? Now, in terms of what does this mean for the Rockets, you have to assume this is clearly an all-in move, right? You're not going to go trade your young star who's only 23 years old. You're not going to go trade Dillon Brooks, who literally just signed an extension with you guys just a season ago. You just brought him in last year. He was a very big, pivotal player for you guys in the regular season. He had his moments in the postseason as well. You don't trade your number 10 pick and then 5 second-round picks for nothing. You're doing all this to receive Kevin Durant and what comes with Kevin Durant as well. What comes with Kevin Durant, we should already know. Top scorer in the history of the league, averaging 27, 28 points a game. Great leadership. Obviously, he does bring championship pedigree and experience to a very young and unexperienced Rockets team. He's able to potentially groom Amen Thompson, bring out some more characteristics of leadership from Alfred Şengün, who they clearly seem to believe a lot more in at this point than they do Jalen Green. And so with KD going to Houston, that definitely tells us that they're all in, right? Now let's talk about the Phoenix Suns. For the Suns side, we can't necessarily say this is a rebuilding situation because remember, they do still have Devin Booker, right? They do still have Bradley Beal, although Bradley Beal did not have a great season last year. He was injured, and one could argue he was in some ways kind of blackballed. He kind of just didn't really have the opportunities to showcase his talents in Mike Budenholzer's system, right? And it got to the point where he was benched. And so, to me, I just think, with the coaching changes that they made, who knows? Maybe this could be a good year for him to really show up and show out, especially with that salary he's making. I don't know how much longer that salary lasts. If I'm not mistaken, it's probably a year or two. But regardless, you have to imagine Bradley Bill's going to want to show up a lot better and more prepared this season for whatever role that the coaching staff is going to have for him. But I don't want to say that this is a move for the Suns as far as a rebuilding situation. I actually thought that in terms of really this deal, they actually got a really good stuff. You got again a young star in Jalen Green, 23. He's got time to develop. His contract's going to be for a bit now. You give him opportunity to grow with Devin Booker, somebody who has been proven to be a star in this league, Olympic gold medalist, made an NBA Finals, although he didn't win it, still did his thing, right? And then obviously you also have Dillon Brooks, somebody who has made it, decently far, or at least made the playoffs every year. Something the Suns did not make it all this previous year. And then again, with that 10 pick, I don't believe this year's draft is as strong throughout, outside of the top four, top five. But you can still do something with these picks, as well as the 5 second round picks that they got as well. They could flip those picks into solid trade pieces for the future. Now, one thing I wanted to kind of show with you guys here that is very important, just to kind of go over this article here, is I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about who won this trade, right? Because often we've heard about a lot of the trades that's gone on since the trade deadline. You saw my Lakers. The Lakers went ahead and picked up Luka Doncic from the Dallas Mavericks. In terms of that trade, obviously the Lakers got Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, Markieff Morris in exchange. The Dallas Mavericks got Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and just one first round pick unprotected, which is the 2029 pick. Then you also look recently with the Desmond Bain trade, right? Desmond Bain ended up getting traded from the Grizzlies to the Orlando Magic. In exchange, the Grizzlies got Kentavious Caldwell Pope, Cole Anthony, as well as four unprotected first round picks and one first round pick swap. So then when you look at this trade, they're only getting one first round pick, 5 second round picks, Jalen Green and Dillon Brooks. But considering all things, I just think this is crazier for the fact that the Magics were able to literally come away and had to trade all these first round picks to the Grizzlies. I mean, I don't know who's going to end up winning that trade in the long run, but if you're talking about all these first round picks and just for Desmond Bain, which no disrespect to him, but that's a lot. That's a lot. Like literally this situation with Desmond Bain was in some ways worse if we're talking just picks alone and then the players, trade off than the Lakers and the Rockets situation combined. Like they actually got more, they gave away more picks than literally the Lakers, who got Luka Doncic, a top 4, top 5 player in the league, and then the Houston Rockets, who just got Kevin Durant. Like that is just insane to me. But again, what I want to talk about here real quick, good deal or bad deal, who wins in this trade? Now, we often hear a lot, and it's easy to speculate and think to ourselves, who really won this trade? Obviously, it's easy to say, oh, the Rockets won the trade. They got Kevin Durant, right? All time great, legend, right? You could also look at the Suns, say, hey, they got this year's first number 10 pick. They got 5 second round picks. Dillon Brooks, a very good defender. He's got his moments. He's a good 3-and-D player, whether you like him or not. And then you got Jalen Green. We don't know the end of Jalen Green's story. A lot of things that I've noticed too is a lot of these organizations, they don't really give their young stars the time to actually develop their skills enough to fully flourish and see what these players can be. But also, sometimes these players need a change of scenery. Sometimes they need to go into a different organization or a different situation with a different coaching staff, different teammates, different roles, and they're able to blossom a lot more than they could have other places where maybe there was just too much pressure for them at that time. 23 years old is very young. Assuming Jalen Green stays healthy, stays out of trouble, he's got at least another 10 years in him, I would assume. And his prime hasn't even begun yet. So I honestly, personally think in this case, the Suns won this trade overall, considering what they got back for Kevin Durant. And Kevin Durant, we don't know how long he's going to be in the league. He might be in the league for 2, 3 more years tops. Maybe he goes the LeBron route and plays till he's 40. He's coming on 37 pretty soon here to start this new season. But we don't know really truly how long he's going to last. And so just kind of looking at this article here, you guys, real quick. As they talked about this, it's very rare that we see a game seven in the finals, but it's even more rare that we see a game changing player literally get traded the day of that game seven, which is insane. So obviously, you can see there, these are the picks that are in exchange for each other. And then also, we have the article here that describes the Houston Rockets, right? Houston Rockets had been given a grade of a B plus. Let's see what they say. There was a strange contrast over the past month as discussions of Durant's next destination heated up at the same time the 2025 NBA playoffs were reaching their conclusion. Okay, let's kind of speed up a little bit here. Coming off finishing second in the West with only one starter, Fred VanVleet, older than 28, the Rockets were surely best positioned to thread the needle, by my pardon, of surrounding Durant with enough talent to contend for a championship, particularly as the price dropped at the point where they didn't have to include any of their most prized young players in return. As I discussed, they did not have to trade Amin Thompson or Alfred Şengün, who are really clearly their most coveted players. We'll kind of speed up here a little bit here. Although Durant is no longer as singularly a scorer as in his prime, when he posts a true shooting percentage and at least 15% better than league average, 9 times according to basketball references, he's still as good as just about anyone creating his own offense. One of the issues that the Rockets had, especially during that playoff series against the Golden State Warriors, nobody was able to create their own offense within their offense or on their own. So adding somebody like Kevin Durant is huge for this team because now anytime you need a bucket, all you got to do is give the ball in this man's hand. That's it. And if you want to run your offense through him or run your offense around him, you can do that because Kevin Durant is one of those players you can fit around anybody, any team. He's going to get it done and get it figured out. And so that's the awesome thing with the Rockets picking up him. As far as a B plus, I mean, I can see it, but as we talk about here, Ahmed Thompson will undoubtedly be a key part to solving whatever issues this trade creates. Thompson, who got my vote for Defensive Player of the Year, as the article stated, surpassed Brooks as Houston's primary stopper last season. Having two elite defenders was certainly a luxury, one that helped the Rockets defend both Curry and Jimmy Butler in opening rounds. So what you're talking about as far as the roster, you got Fred, if assuming he comes back as the one, you got Amin Thompson, who is probably going to get shifted to the two, right? And he's going to be your main stopper, but also assuming he works on his offense this offseason. And now you got Kevin Durant who can help you with your jump shot. That's huge for his development. He's still young. He's only 20, maybe 21 at most. And then you at the three, you got Kevin Durant. You got Jabari Smith Jr., who I know a lot of people are sleeping on right now because he came off the bench this year. But I'm telling you, with a good offseason, once again, with Kevin Durant, who he was also compared to when he first came into the league, that's huge for his growth at the four. And then at the five, you got Alfred Şengün. That's a solid five right there. That's a five that truly can contend in this coming season. Now you look at the Phoenix Suns, right? Phoenix Suns, personally, I'm not sure if I agree with this grade. They gave him a B. Okay. Now, in terms of this, can't beg my pardon. Let's talk about this a little bit. In 5 years, the number 10 pick will likely matter most to the Suns. They haven't picked that high since 2020. When they jumped from the lottery to the NBA Finals after taking Jalen Smith, number 10, 2 picks ahead of Tyrese Halliburton, Phoenix, which has only one first-round pick on a rookie contract on the roster, which is Ryan Dunn, now holds a pair of first-rounders next Thursday. So now they have their own pick, but they also have Houston's pick at 10 as well. So they're really drafting around the future, which I think is the reason why they're giving them a B, because this isn't like an immediate game-changing trade for them in order or route to win a championship this year. The way that they're grading this is clearly based off of the fact that these trades going to the Phoenix Suns route is really more catered to what they do after this season, not necessarily them going all in for this season to win a championship. So now that they have their pick, as well as Houston's pick this year and 5 first-round picks, they can start stockpiling young youth players around Devin Booker and now Jalen Green. And it allows them to kind of start building up this roster a little bit better than what they had last year. Last year, their defense was the biggest issue. I'm curious to see how they're going to work around that. Ryan Dunn, we've seen some glimpse of potential with him now accomplishing his rookie season, going into his sophomore year. We'll see how much he develops as well as far as his offense, because we didn't see a whole lot of that. But we'll also see if he's able to take a bigger leap overall, just in terms of his well around balance of the play. Um, but you guys let me know in the comment section down below, who do you guys think ended up winning this trade? Do you think it was the Rockets because obviously they got Kevin Durant and this is clearly a win now situation? Do you think it was the Phoenix Suns? They got, again, a young star in Jalen Green. They got Dillon Brooks. They got all these picks that they can play with for the future, and see what they can work with in the offseason as well. Y'all let me know in the comment sections down below what you think. Either way, man, I actually think this was a solid kind of trade off. In some ways, I don't really want to say personally this team won the most. But if I had to pick, I would actually say the Suns won the most in this case. But y'all let me know, like I said, in the comment section down below. And again, keep tuning in. If you're not already subscribed, hit that bell for notifications. We will be going live here soon for the NBA Finals later this afternoon. Y'all stay tuned and stay safe. God bless.
That's a wrap for today's episode of the Russ and Vince Courtside Podcast, where we bring you the hottest NBA moments, discussions, and everything in between. If you like today's show, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you never miss a Courtside Podcast again.